Donna Devane, station owner here at Awakened Radio Network, and I wanted to take a few moments to answer some questions that I've received from listeners. One is, how can I support the Awakened Radio Network? Well, one of the easiest ways for you to do that is to visit our website at awakenedradio.net and check out our online store. We have stones and crystals, jewelry, medicine bags, dream catchers, coaching sessions with a few of our hosts in there, autographed copies of both of my books, lots of things that can help you on your journey and celebration of your life. Also, we do have donate buttons throughout the website. When you make a donation to the Awakened Radio station, you are saying, kudos, I love you, thank you for what you're doing, keep doing it. And you help us to stay on the air and to expand our operation. A lot of times we're asked, well, how much do I donate? That is entirely up to you. Listen to your heart. I've told people over the years, I don't want your power money. I don't want your grocery money. Share from your heart. The Awakened Radio Network is built upon the foundation of co-creating, all of us working together. We don't take grant money. We don't have corporate money. We are self-supported by our hosts, by some of our sponsors, our small businesses who sponsor us, and by ourselves and listeners like you. There's no amount too small or too large for that matter. If you love what we're doing and you'd like to see us expand, then shop in our store, make a donation, or perhaps you'd like to host your own show. All that information is on our website at awakenedradio.net. If you'd like to contact me for questions, do so. Send me an email at awakenedradio@gmail.com, or you can add Awakened Radio to your Skype contact. Don't just call, because you may call in the middle of the show. Send me a text message there, and I'll get right back with you to have a conversation and answer your questions. Know this, Awakened Radio is about you. We are here because we care. We stand by and we live the messages that we present to you here on the airwaves. We are about information, inspiration, and motivation for those who are changing their lives. Peace.
Welcome. You're now tuned in to your unfolding senses on Awakened Radio, the show about opening to your intuitive senses. I'm your host, Rob Kabat-Zinn, and I'm on the air every Thursday at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. This show is brought to you by intuitionbyrob.net, where I offer tips and techniques to help you explore your intuition. Please enjoy the show and invite your friends to join us here as well. Let's get started. Hi, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to your Unfolding Senses. I'm Rob Kabat-Zinn, your host, explorer, blogger, author, intuitive, and all-around Mr. Nice Guy. It's June 27th, 2013, and thank you for listening tonight. And we'll be talking about body scanning and mindful-based stress reduction. But for now, we'll talk about what this show is all about. Your Unfolding Senses is all about opening to your inner wisdom. We're all intuitive, but many of us haven't found a way to listen and hear what messages are already coming to us. We'll talk about the tools, technology, and techniques for letting go of stress, centering, and connecting inward, and truly being able to listen. With, of course, a focus on helping you to find the tools that actually work for you. What works for you, that is most important. If yoga perhaps doesn't work for you, maybe Tai Chi will. And researchers are constantly coming up with new ideas and new information about what helps us to step out of stress, for instance, and lead calmer lives. I'll talk about some of that tonight. You can join us in the chat room at awakenedradio.net and click on the live chat tab, or add Awakened Radio, all one word, to your Skype, or dial 334-649-7204 if you have any questions about tonight's topic, or perhaps dreams, or any kind of recurring event that you'd like to know more about. We'll spend some time and talk about that, but tonight's topic again is pain and fear relief, mindful-based stress reduction, and body scanning to really connect inward and learn more about what's stressing us. Now, of course, this show does not replace any medical advice, so work with your doctor or other healthcare practitioners with any health issues. And as you many already know, your unfolding senses is about connecting to your intuition, your inner life, and your heart. Essentially, being able to listen to your inner guidance, no matter your age, background, or ideology, making room in your life for your inner voice to shine through, so that no matter what tools you're using or techniques, they're the ones that really speak to you and are appropriate for you. I want to give thanks to Donna for her show tonight. She talked all about fear and accepting it and moving on and beliefs. And stay tuned for Chris Beulah, Farm Girl by 40, who's on after me at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And it's her birthday tonight, so all the more reason to stay tuned in. And as you're listening, this can be an excellent opportunity to slow down, at least for the next hour, and suspend doubt and disbelief, and we'll connect inward and make time and space for truly listening to our hearts. And gradually this special space can unfold into other areas of your outer life. With that in mind, I invite you to take part in our short meditation. And you may have a question that you'd like to ask, one of your own, or you might ask, what stress is in my life that I can work with to perhaps begin to let go of, in your own words, of course. And you can light a candle and maybe some incense, whatever's appropriate, whatever you feel led to do. And during the meditation, just allow for whatever comes to you to come. Might be a phrase, sound, word, or symbol that can help you to answer any questions that you might have around stress, fear, or pain. So finding a quiet space, sitting comfortably and closing your eyes, again, not if you're driving, and begin to breathe slowly and gently, releasing any stress from the day and breathing gently into yourself and your heart. Letting go of any doubts or worries, and continue to breathe gently as you let your mind quiet and your body rest and to settle into stillness. Feel yourself filling with peace and tranquility, bringing your focus to your heart and wondering what it has been asking for. You may also wish to bring your hands to your heart and allow your awareness of it to deepen as you continue to gently breathe. Feel all of your senses open, grow, and deepen. Know that this is a special place where you can clearly hear your own inner voice, however it speaks to you. Be mindful of how this space feels, and you might ask your question and notice any messages available to you within this space. Your inner ears might hear a word or a phrase. Your inner eyes might see a color, shape, or picture. Your other senses might pick up other things. Just notice whatever sensations, sounds, or memories might come. Pay attention to these. If you don't understand what they mean, ask for deeper clarity, but allow for whatever comes to come to you. And if nothing does, that's okay. Don't force anything to happen. Rest in the stillness and inner peace. This could be the very thing your heart has been asking for. Notice how your body feels and breathe into the parts of your body that feel tight or stressed, allowing yourself to feel comfort and ease in this space. Know that you can come here anytime and continue to gently breathe and be grateful for this space. And as we prepare to leave, thanking the space for its comfort and any messages you received, and slowly and gently bringing your focus back to the room. Now, noticing and perhaps recording any messages you received in the meditation and accepting whatever that message was. But as you work with your intuition, find ways to be comfortable with it and just let it go and find a way to let go of any critical voice that says, that's silly, and just find a way to work with the messages that you might get. And of course, always pay attention to how you feel and notice your body sensations and ask what they might be connected to. Shapes, colors, symbols all can be important, and especially the related emotions, which we usually push aside. So find a way to accept them, not dismiss them, and work with them in a way that makes sense. And if you're not getting anything, just pick up a pen and write down whatever comes to mind. Now, last week we discussed body language. This week we're talking about mindful-based stress reduction and body scanning, healing pain, and letting go of the pain. Obviously, with one meditation or meditating for a week, if you haven't ever meditated before, won't necessarily get and clear all of your pain, but it can begin to help you address it and work with it and find a way to heal it and let it go. Now, Henry Nguyen has a quote that says, when we honestly ask ourselves which person in our lives means the most to us, we often find that it is those who, instead of giving advice, solutions, or cures, have chosen rather to share our pain and touch our wounds with a warm and tender hand. So with that, it's about really opening up to our own wisdom, but also accepting any help that's coming through to you, perhaps simply by people who are being present with you. And before we get to the meditation techniques, I'd like to remind everyone about some things that we didn't talk about last week in very much depth, which one was volunteering, which you might do if you're really involved in your work or other issues and you really want to begin to step out and take on confidence, which was what we were talking about last week. And by volunteering, you can offer your own mentorship, your own wisdom, and you can break out, perhaps at least for a few hours, of a pattern of feeling stressed and stuck in maybe a self-absorbed pattern, and now you're helping others. And it's a small space in your life to be able to do that. And can feel a sense of accomplishment, and can definitely have a stress relief effect simply by having new people in your life, and when you return to them, they're smiling and happy to see you. So it's one technique that you may look to for both for stress reduction and for taking on a new stance and a new role that requires really confidence. Now, why would we need to work with any kind of stress reduction technique? And this technique, mindful-based stress reduction, is developed by Jon Kabat-Zinn, and you can do a quick search and see that he's been working with meditation techniques for a very long time, and he's a medical doctor, and he's helped numerous people with serious heart and other health issues to really connect inward and begin to reduce their stress. So for MBSR, some of the reasons you might use it would be obviously chronic illness, anxiety, if you're going through some illness like cancer or high blood pressure or grief or fatigue, or you're not sleeping well. Obviously, any kind of meditation, including MBSR, can definitely help you to begin to connect in and let go of your pain and your stress. And it's really about bringing awareness to our bodies and beginning to truly notice them and the patterns and rhythms of our bodies, and to notice at first, if you might be noticing simple things like, oh, I'm tired. Why didn't I sleep? It's not putting blame to something, but maybe it's acknowledging that perhaps you might need more sleep and working that into your life. It's all about developing a body awareness and paying attention to your body, one step at a time, and seeing how it is in the moment today, in this particular moment. But again, it's not about labeling. It's just to check in, but not about labeling or changing anything or judging the body. It's to experience it and to simply see what's there in the moment, what's there now, how does my body feel. And a lot of times we take on the stance that, oh, that's my old injury from such and such a time, and it always hurts when I do that. And, well, it's time to let go of that always and will always be kind of thought, and begin to really address our bodies with reverence, obviously, and with awareness, and to look at the possibility that there might be another way. Mindfulness-based stress reduction definitely helps us to get in touch and can be very powerful as we begin to notice our sensations and that normally pass through our bodies, and where we hold our stress, where we hold our pain. And it's simple to do, and it might be a little time consuming at first, but it involves simply lying on your back and moving your mind through the different regions of your body, starting with the toes on the left side of your body and slowly moving up your foot and leg, and then down the right side, and then up to the next region, which is the pelvis, and then up to the other areas of your body, feeling the sensations as we go and directing your breathing in and out to the various different regions. And and there's plenty of documentation online for it. And In Full Catastrophe Living is an excellent book by Mr. Zinn, but you can also find it online, and I'll talk about different researchers who are working with it. But first, we'll talk about some new research that talks about how meditation, yoga, deep breathing, and such all have a way of evoking what researchers, including Herbert Benson, calls the relaxation response. He says that the relaxation response is like the opposite of the fight or flight response, which is the body's natural reaction to stress. And when you elicit the relaxation response, your energy usage is lowered, your heart beats lower, your muscles relax, and your blood pressure decreases. If practiced regularly, it can have lasting effects. And he says, people have been engaging in these practices for thousands of years and our finding of this unity function on a basic science genomic level gives greater credibility to what some have called New Age medicine. So he's just had some articles published just this week. I'll post that into the forum and the chat room. If you're there, you can read some of this research. Now, what we really want to be able to do with this, with our meditation, is to connect and acknowledge our bodies and notice what they're presenting. So noticing our aches and pains and find a way to tend to them. Of course, we're not trying to micromanage them or label them or judge them, making ourselves wrong. And you might use acupressure or various forms of physical therapy or exercise or Feldenkrais. But it's about stepping back and noticing how you feel and wondering if there is a way to begin to really tend to your body in such a way that can be healing, which leads to noticing perhaps first, before you do anything, the foods that you eat, which might cause inflammation and further stress. So you might begin to journal what you're eating and when. And some of the common triggers, and I'm not a doctor here, so take this at its word, are artificial sweeteners, sugar, the hydrogenated fats, the fruit juices, wheat, soda, red meat, and dairy. All have immune system weakening capabilities. So just to notice how much of that those products are eating and begin to perhaps look for a way to change. In the news recently, we have tons of information about gluten sensitivity and allergies, especially with children, and the GMOs that are in the foods. And you can even listen to my GMO special from earlier in the month, if you like, by going to the forum, and just to notice how people are becoming more aware of what's in the foods and the potential damaging effects of them. So you really want to be looking at, well, what does my body need? How can I fuel it? And give it the right fuel. And many people simply, for instance, are creating pain by eating the wrong foods. And one thing to notice, especially with the wheat, is if you're eating, like, for instance, a bagel, and then maybe 10, 20, 30 minutes, you just feel tired, lethargic, want to go take a nap, that's definitely contributed to by the wheat. It's triggering all kinds of stress and immune system attacks, whether it's causing you to have an allergic reaction or stress or inflammation. it's largely caused by the wheat. So experiment, find out what foods work best for you, and take time, of course, to be grateful for the food that you do have, and notice and present it to yourself in a way that is both desirable, and you're not just gobbling it up, and is healthy for you and your body. Now we have 5 minutes till break. So if you have any questions about this or dreams or intuition, you can call in after the break, and I'll give those numbers when we return. But I just want to let you know that that's available. And we'll begin to talk about this, at least in a short, brief level right now. And Dr. Allison Caldwell says, part of solving pain is paying attention to it, identifying the problem, and doing what you can to solve it. But even better, we are finding out and learning from pain is that it's not just an old wives' tale to make you feel better. It really can be beneficial to find out what the pain is about. Pain is a signal that needs your attention. So instead of popping a pain reliever and going on with your life, be bold and check out the problem. And she has a 3-step phase for identifying and working with the pain. 1 is to shore up your defenses and obviously find a way to check out what the issue is. 2 is don't give up. And 3 is to acknowledge what you've learned because of the pain and have compassion for the pain and forgiveness for yourself for not maybe addressing it sooner and accepting where you are in your life. Which leads us to looking at our beliefs and noticing if you believe, for instance, that you're stuck, or this, for instance, is the way that it is, there's nothing to do, I would suggest otherwise, and begin to find these techniques like the MBSR and meditation to create a space in your life for silence and really connecting inward. And I think that's one of the most important things that people avoid, especially today, is having any kind of silence in their lives. And a challenge to everyone this week is to cut out at least one program, television program or whatever, maybe 2, maybe 3, and spend some time in silence. Turn off all the electronics if that's appropriate, and just sit with yourself and notice what you notice. And don't try to force anything again. Just be gentle with yourself and have a space that you can go to where you can sit, perhaps journal, perhaps do some artwork, but you're really not trying to create anything. You're really trying to disconnect momentarily from the world and connect to yourself in a gentle and easy way that lets go of the stress and the chaos and the static of everyday life. And simply sitting in silence, perhaps bringing your hands to your heart and meditating, if that's okay, you can do that. But just sitting in silence can definitely be healing and rejuvenating. And perhaps you can cook yourself a good meal and mindfully eat it, and then lie on your back and do a meditation and just notice how your body feels as you digest the food. And we'll talk more about MBSR when we get back from the break.
Hello, I'm Donna Devine, the Barefoot Guru station owner.
here of the Awakened Radio Network, and I want to tell you, I am Awakened Radio. You are too. Together, we are Awakened Radio. And right now, we are inviting and encouraging all of our listeners all around the world to join us in the next expansion of the Awakened Radio Network. We are wanting to upgrade our technology. We just had to cancel some live broadcasts because our PC died. And our technician advisor, Rob Ragazine, has told me that we need a server, we need a superstation computer, and some kind of backup thing. And the cost for all of this is going to be right at $5,000. And while for some of us that may sound like a lot of money, think of it this way. If each of us gives from our heart, each of us that is part of the Awakened Radio Network donates $1, $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, even more, it will not take us very long to co-create a superstation computer setup that will guarantee us live airtime. We are ready to expand. We've already expanded with the Thrive Evolutionary Consciousness magazine. We are ready to expand even more, and we invite you and celebrate you co-creating with us. I've set up a special page at awakenedradio.net. Look up at the top where it says radio station support. You can make a one-time love gift donation, or you can set up a recurring monthly payment that will come out of whatever account you set up the same day every month. However you help us, you are appreciated. And if you'd like to send a check, a cashier's check, money order to the station, that information is at awakenedradio.net there on our front page. Thank you so much for realizing that rival energy principles are practiced here at Awakened Radio. That you, we are Awakened Radio, and together we create a new reality. I love you. Peace.
Thank you for joining me, Rob Ragazine, here on my show, Your Unfolding Senses. Please feel free to join us in the chat room or call us here at Awakened Radio with your intuition or healing questions. Simply dial 334-649-7204 or add Awakened Radio to your Skype. Okay, we're back. Now, before we start, we're actually working our way up to doing the MBSR exercise. You want to get grounded and have a space for doing the meditation. Obviously you should be lying down for this, so a bed or a space that's more appropriate might be better, such as a special room where you meditate, or a special space where you meditate. And obviously this isn't appropriate for everyone, so you can use your bed. And as you lie down, to begin to notice the parts of your body that are in contact with the bed. And so noticing how your head or your hips are connected with the sheets, and imagine yourself loosening and softening in those areas. So feel yourself letting go of tension wherever you normally feel it. So if you feel it typically in your shoulders, to feel them softening and gently sinking in to the bed. This is an opportunity to tune in and relax the parts of the body that are holding tension, such as your shoulders, your neck, perhaps your jaw, or wherever you hold tension, maybe in your hips, maybe in your calves, wherever it is that you hold tension in your body, to soften that area and to allow it to gently sink into the bed. Now you'll want to set your intention to fully benefit from the meditation. So agree to yourself to let go of past and future and any stress issues that are in your mind. It helps if you can let go of the sounds that are around you. So hopefully you've closed the door and let everything fade into the background but your body. You're still connected to it. And be friendly and gently and hold compassion for your body. And we're trying not to meet anything that we find or see or feel with any kind of label or any kind of judgment. If you start to notice any kind of pain or stress in your body, it's okay. It's not the enemy, it's you. So, an MBSR expert called Trish McGarry says it's a very radical concept to meet the body with friendliness. So we're meeting our body with friendliness. And Jon Kabat-Zinn says, when practicing the body scan, the key point is to maintain awareness in every moment. A detached witnessing of your breath and your body, region by region, as you scan from your feet to the top of your head. The quality of your attention and your willingness just to feel what is there and be with it no matter what is much more important than imagining the tension leaving your body or the in-breath revitalizing your body. If you just work at getting rid of tension, you may or may not succeed, but you are not practicing mindfulness. But if you are practicing being present in each moment, and at the same time you are allowing your breathing and your attention to purify the body within this context of awareness and with a willingness to accept whatever happens, then you are truly practicing mindfulness and tapping its power to heal. So we're just being aware moment to moment. Don't worry about getting rid of anything, just be aware. Now, beginning the scan, the initial steps to take, we've lied down on their back, and now, hopefully, the room is warm enough, so make sure that you're comfortable as you begin to notice your body. If you feel that it's necessary, you can cover yourself and perhaps turn off the air conditioning. Beginning to notice your stomach and how it's rising and falling with each in and out breath. Take a few more moments to feel your body as whole and complete from head to toe, including your skin. That's the largest organ of your body. Notice your skin. And notice the sensations that you feel as your body and your skin comes into contact with whatever you're lying on the floor or your bed. And just pay attention to that. And begin to notice if you have any sensations that come up and what happens when there are these sensations, when there is pain. And when there is a strong physical sensation, a strong sense of pain somewhere, simply bring your awareness to where the pain is, where the stress is, and begin to breathe into that space, but allow it to be there. We're not trying to push it aside, push it out. Don't be critical of yourself, and let go of any commentary or evaluations that you might be doing. You might be saying, oh, this is my shoulder pain again. Well, just let that go. Sense the actual experience, perhaps for the first time ever, and just notice it in and of itself. Carefully begin to explore all the tiny little sensations that make it up. For instance, I had heel spurs at one time, and those felt like tiny little bursts of electric shocks in the heel. So you might notice whether an area, for instance, feels like little jolts or continuous sensations, or heat, or tingling, or cool, or hardness, or softness. And it's okay if you don't notice anything at all. That's perfectly fine. We're just trying to notice what we notice. Again, perhaps somewhere there's extra warmth, or extra coolness, or tingling, or tenseness, or pressure, burning, lightness, and so on. And just to notice what our body is presenting to us, and really becoming connected to, aware, and intimate with our bodies. And notice what happens to your sensations as you are mindful of them. Do they get more intense? Do they get sharper and crisper? Or do they become weaker or smaller? Or do they just stay the same? As an aid, you can gently label the experience, but try not to overly be critical or judgmental. It's just having the correct words. Maybe you have your own words for what I just mentioned. Instead of tingling, you might have popping or something. Just to notice what words are appropriate for you. It's really something that can keep your attention steady on the persistent issue or stress or pain, and that's really the focus of being mindful here. We're not trying to stick labels on everything. We're trying to be as mindful as we can of what we're connected to. Just being present for the experience directly, and then you might begin to say, for instance, just noticing where the stress is. So, for instance, as I mentioned before, saying shoulders, and then saying tight, stressed, and then noticing, oh, back, tight, stressed, burning, or whatever's connected there. And then perhaps noticing a sensation in your hand and labeling those. And once you're done labeling or noticing the sensations, and as no longer nothing is drawing your attention, you can go back to breathing until some other sensation really calls to your attention. And that really is the start of the MBSR meditation. And we hopefully can begin to bring focus to our toes and our feet instead of getting caught up in all of the stress of the other areas of our body. But it's okay if we have a lot of those stress points at first. As we begin to practice with MBSR, we'll have opportunity to stay with it and become more proficient and probably be able to scan your whole body in a few minutes. But it really isn't about time. It's simply being aware of your body and where the stress or pain or doubt or worry is. So bringing our attention for now back to our feet and the toes of your left foot, and seeing and noticing if you can bring your breathing to your left foot. Breathe into your foot. You don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to wiggle your toes or move your foot. We're just paying attention to it and seeing what's there. So imagine your breath traveling down your whole body from your nose all the way down your left leg into the toes and then back up through your nose. Notice how that process feels, and notice and feel the sensations from your toes. Perhaps they stand out from some sensation in your feet. Perhaps your feet are hot or tired or cool and relaxed. If you don't feel anything right now, that's okay. Don't just allow yourself to not feel anything. And when you're ready to leave the toes and move on, you can take a deeper and more intentional breath all the way down into the base of the toes, and then let that go, and let go of the toes, but stay with your breath for a few moments, and then bring your awareness down to the heel and the sole of the foot, and notice how that feels, and if you have any issues there, to breathe into it, to notice it, and bring your awareness, when you're ready, to the ankle and the other areas of your foot. You can label them all right now, but it's really just about noticing where you might feel stress, where you might feel doubt or worry and stress and pain, and letting go of it and moving on. And as you can see, at first it might take a while to move through the various regions. After you're done with your foot, you move to the shin and the rest of your leg, and then you'd move to the right side, and then into the pelvis, and then up into the rest of your body, and noticing which areas have particular sensations and where they are. But always keeping a focus on your breathing and your breath and what the feeling of a particular region that you're in as you come to them, breathing into them and letting them go. We're not really trying to push anything aside or force it out. We're bringing our breath to them, and what happens, happens. You can also, when you're done, record what you've experienced and perhaps begin to take steps in your outer life to begin to address the issues that are coming up as you're doing this scanning technique. If it helps, imagine that you're taking a visual tour of your body, and you might even see yourself shrunk down to be within the body, but it's really not about that. Again, it's looking to see what's in that particular region today. We're not moving any of the body parts. We're noticing them and experiencing them one by one. And perhaps noticing if, for instance, one part of your body is colder than or warmer than its counterpart. So is the left foot colder than you remember the right foot? Is it warmer? And to notice the blanket on top of your feet and on top of your legs. But once we scan through a particular part, we allow it to fade away. So once you scan your left foot, we're not done with it, but we've completed it. Now we're moving up our leg. We'll pay full attention to our left leg, and then full attention to our right foot. And repeat. So we move up from the right leg to the torso, and the pelvis, then the torso, until you reach your head and connect it all together. And once you reach your head, you can connect your entire body and feel the head connected to the neck and the neck connected to the torso, like that song. I can't remember it, but leg bone connected to the whatever it is. And of course, this really requires you to have forgiveness for yourself and honoring both the past and the present. And the final step, when we've completed scanning the whole body, is to notice the skin around your whole body, and notice the temperature, the texture of everything touching your skin, and in the very end, to be in the present moment. And Trish McGarry says, we're not thinking about what's right or wrong with us, our state of health, but just a sense of physical wholeness. And surprisingly, once you've done the whole scan, left to right through your various regions, you may have some relief of any chronic pain, and that's what the teachers who teach it really have begun to notice, that people who have had the pain for 20, 30 years, they begin to have a realization that they don't hurt everywhere now. There might be parts of your body that aren't in pain if you have that much pain. And that's what people find exciting about the whole process. So give it a try. If you really need to read more about it, you can find it at Trisha's website. I believe there's steps to take it, and that's posted in the chat room, and will be posted in the forum, as well as within Full Catastrophe Living and at some of Jon Kabat-Zinn's sites as well. The steps are fully documented, and you might even go see one of these practitioners yourself and enroll in one of their programs. But it's really connecting to our bodies and then just noticing what happens when you're done. And when you are totally done with the whole scan, you begin to move your hands, your whole body, intentionally. So perhaps getting up, walking around the room, and shaking out your hands and your feet. Maybe kneading your shoulders, having someone give you a massage, or perhaps rocking back and forth in the bed, letting go of that moment and moving on into the next. So, really noticing what's come up during your scan and finding a way to record that, as I mentioned before, and working with it in your outer life. Now we're almost out of time, so if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach me in the forum or on my website and ask me, or Twitter or Facebook, and I'm more than happy to help answer any questions that you might have. Now, as we're almost out of time, I'd like to mention donations. If you're so inclined and you enjoyed our shows, they're always greatly appreciated. We're here for no cost to you, so please find it in your heart to click the donate button at the top of most of the screens on Awakened Radio. You can also join us and contribute to our Thrive magazine. The next issue for July has a deadline of July 10th, so articles, art, and poetry, or anything else creative that can go in a magazine can be contributed, and you can send that to awakenedradio@gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to accept it, and we'll post a link to one of your websites in the magazine, and you'll get your work shown off to lots of people. Thank you for joining me tonight. Again, if you have any questions about tonight's show, please feel free to contact me via email, Twitter, Facebook, or the forum. Join me again next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern here on awakenedradio.net. And I'd like to offer some homework this week. So find a way to at least scan your body once this week, whether it's 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, whatever it is. And if you feel like it, you can also meditate and listen to sound. But I also recommend that you find a way to settle into silence for another 5 or 10 minutes. So instead of watching that one extra TV show, spend that 40 minutes sitting in silence in a meditation, or doing the body scan, whatever's appropriate for you. Also, since you're doing the body scan, you might use that as an opportunity to begin journaling. So again, you can definitely benefit in the silent time that you might be spending by journaling, but also by journaling you can record what you've done within the body scan. So just to notice yourself in a deeper and more meaningful way, and journaling can definitely help that, and can definitely help you to take the next steps, whatever they might be, to begin to address the pain and the stress that you might notice as you do the body scan. So good luck, have an excellent week, and stay tuned for Farm Girl by 40, which is up next. Again, thanks for joining me.